Hey guy, welcome back to another video. This week we're looking at Firebase Cloud Functions. I'll show you how to set everything up, basically writing a simple background function, deploy, emulator, and then unit testing. It's gonna be a long video, so you just gotta stick with me. I'll try to explain everything as fast as possible. I'm pretty sure you know what Cloud Function is. If you don't, it's just a thing as a simple piece of code that live on the server and doing certain thing that you ask it to do. So there's two type of cloud function. One is direct cloud function. Basically you just have call a post API request to it. I think it would typically use in web application. There's also what's called background cloud function, where it will trigger when certain action happen or anything happening to your database. And the great thing about cloud function is it's super secure. It's gonna live on the server, so it doesn't it's gonna basically line up the load for your client. And if you develop an iOS application, for example, you don't have to entangle a bunch of code just to make sure check this, check that. You can just write a cloud function for it and it will run every time. Also, it's also secure in a way that people cannot reverse engineering your app and they start figuring out connecting the dot, oh, how's your app working on client, how's your app connected to the way, and they can do some bad thing and harmful thing to your app. So no discussion for it. Just get started. So in front of me is just an empty Firebase project. As you can see, there's nothing here. Also there's nothing authentication, so it's completely empty. We're gonna go over, open up your terminal, locate to wherever you want to save your cloud function. In this case, I want to go for desktop. I want to make a directory called server function. Let's cd to it. So we have server function. First, before getting started, you need this documentation as well. You need to go to here. Number 2, you need to install the Firebase tool. So you have Firebase install. I already did, so I'm not gonna run it again. With that, you go back to here. You're gonna go Firebase init function with an S. Don't forget the S. It'll run. Just let it run, and it will before all of this. My bad. I wanna cancel it. Make sure you run Firebase login. Basically, when you press enter, it's gonna create a new tab. You're gonna have all your Google account in front of you, and you select the Google account that's associated with your Firebase project. I already logged in, so I'm not gonna do it. Just don't forget this. Do this before you do the Firebase init. So let's start with the Firebase init again. Let's run. Say create a new project. We will have a project. And then on this account, I only have a single project, right? Called sample server. There's nothing fancy. I just press enter. That's only one. I'll be using Typescript for this. TSLint, yes, why not? npm, of course. So now we're going to wait. So while we're waiting, let's head over to create our open up your favorite code editor. I'm use VS Code. And here, go desktop and open up your server function. Actually, I already repeat this process 1 or 2 times, so that's why you see it on recent. Is it done? Yes, is it done? And you get this. Let's take a look. These are just some Firebase configuration, the git ignore. This I believe for you to switch project easier. And you go to the folder, just like every single npm, you have a node module. We have all your node. You never need to touch that. Let's see. We have index.typescript. This is where our cloud function will write all our function. So now we got that running. Let's get started with let's see, what do we need? We need to import add admin from Firebase admin. And then we're gonna say admin.initializing app. So this is going to set up our admin basically authentication that allow us to basically ignore every single Firebase rule that you're going to define, because we are admin, right? We do what we want. So we can get started with create our first function. We can say export dot constant. Let's call on add admin message. Nothing too fancy. We're gonna say functions file store, and we're gonna say document, and we give a path to document. With this project, I want to make something like this. I want to make a collection called message, and then every message there is of course a doc ID, and within the doc ID, our data are gonna be a sender of message. I'm gonna put a sender. Let's say Firebase team, right? Something like that. I'm keeping the data very simple, so it's easier for us and not make everything too like complicated. And since that we know that our database path gonna be this, all we have to do is make it like that. And here I say doc ID, so this basically will match match any document within the message collection, on this path at least. You press next. There is few functions you can do, on create, on delete, on update, and on write, right? And here I'm just gonna do on create. Make sure you async it. Take two parameters, snap and context. Okay, now we have the body. So let's say I want to put this in a try and catch. This is gonna be a promise function. So I'm gonna put try and catch. I don't think you need this, but just gonna do it. Console.log, say, oh my stuff went down, something like that. I'm gonna say promise processing promise dot reject. We're pressing error in, and try here. If there's an additional configuration, you do it out here, so there's no worry. Here what you want to do, well, let's see, what should we do? Actually I'm just gonna add another field into the document. So we're gonna do Firebase. We say snap dot this bunch of parameters you can get here. We're gonna reference, so when reference the document, we gonna set, and I'm gonna set a new data, admin message, welcome to the team, and we're gonna call ourselves bot, right? Okay, we are robot that. Now this one setting these message. We also take in a merge parameter, so we don't like basically replace the document. I'm gonna put yes here. No, it's not yes, it's true. I'm tripping. So with this, you have a very simple function. We saying that every time a document in this collection is created, we gonna add a message field, admin message field, with this message into it. And also, let's talk about context real quick. If you do context dot, there's also all type vanity parameter. So be careful with this. All dot, I believe, UID. This thing actually always returning nil, like literally always return no. But you be wondering why though. Alright, we have a user login, we have a user exists, so why is it returning no? For some reason, when I was digging around a while back, I come across a post. Basically, the Firebase team basically say that, hey, this is too complicated for us to make, and we see no use in this, so we're just not gonna implement it. We're gonna leave it in there. So careful if you need to get the user ID for this document. That will be very you sit here for like hours and like, why is it no, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because Firebase team have it, that means it shouldn't work. No, it doesn't. So be very careful with this. For example, you have like a database like this. All right, you have a user, and you have a user ID, and then we have a message collection, right? And something like that, right? MID. If you have something like this, if you want to grab the user ID, it's the symbol used to do context dot parameter and then user ID. You have to make sure this is matched this. So if I end up replacing this here in here, you make sure this is matched and you're able to get the user ID. I think that's a better way to able to get user ID. It's kind of a trick way. But yes, just a little trick, maybe tip, not better than tip. Just a tip, be very careful with that. So now we have this. Let's save our file. Make sure before we want, let's in terminal. We want to cd into function, and then we're gonna want to run npm run build. Maybe I shouldn't increase the font size a bit for you guys to see better. I don't know what's wrong. Not all path return about. Also promise we will put return here. So when you save, let's run our npm again. It shouldn't run. Give it a second. It's finished building. You get this new folder called live, and it will have an index.js file. It's basically exact copy of a code, but in Typescript, not Typescript, JavaScript. And we don't worry about this. We're still doing everything here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set up the emulator locally so you can test out your function. So here you want to do Firebase .init emulator with an S, by the way, because there's multiple emulator in the packet. So here it's allowed you to choose. You have function. Also press space on Firestore. We can ignore the rest, so we have to choose selected. Enter. Yes. Yes. And which part do you want? Just enter. Would like to download emulator now? Yes. Alright, that's very quick. So now we do Firebase .emulator with an S, and we start it. Let's run this. Give it a second. Okay, now it shows that what emulator is running. We have a function emulator and a Firestore emulator. It's both in localhost 4000. So we're gonna go over to our browser. Let's say localhost 4000. You can see this status is on and on. When you click on view log, it's gonna be a log for you to see what function have run. We can also go to Firebase. Alright, isn't this look familiar? It's exactly as this. You can mess around with your local data and test out how your Firebase function run. So let's test our function. I don't think that's not the right VS Code. Okay, this is our path, right? Message with an S, and we have a doc ID. So let's do a message with an S, doc ID. I'm just gonna be sender. I'm just gonna put my name on it. I don't want how to type my name. That's surprising. And then when I click save, you see the function trigger right away. It's gonna add this new thing into it. This is very helpful. You don't have to. This cut out the process of you have to deploy this to your Firebase project and then test it, and you like, oh snap, something wrong. Let me write the code again and then deploy and do that. So this is very fast. The function trigger are very fast. Right. This is going to be super helpful for you to test out all the possibility on your cloud function and also the response time is great. Also, then what should you do? What should you do next? Let's see. You have here. Let's create another terminal. We gonna Firebase deploy. I hope I'm correct here. Only function. We only deploy the function up to Firebase. I'll pause for a second. There's a noise in the background. Alright, sorry. I thought my mom gonna talk on the phone right outside my room, so it's gonna be a bunch of noise. I believe that's it. Let's press enter on this. See, it's gonna run. I hope I'm doing it. I hope I have the right function. While she's talking, I wanna pause it. I wanna be back. Okay, so very sorry for the interruption. So let's continue where we left off. When I press enter, get an error here. Say deploy a payment. You go placing plan. Blah 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 blah. So here's a problem, right? Now with the new Node.js 10, Firebase, there's some sort of internal structure changed to Google where they force you to have a payment plan. I believe even the Blaze plan still have like a little of a free tier cap where you don't have to pay until you hit that tier, just like a Spark plan. But then now you have to like put in the credit card and everything. So you go down to your Firebase. There's a plan right here, Spark. We on Spark plan because we want to test. We don't want to do anything. And then there's a Blaze plan. Play you go. For this, if you still want to test your Firebase function, one way I recommend is you go into your packet.log.json. No, packet.json, not packet log. Change this node to 8. I don't know what's wrong. My neighbor, there's always noise. I cannot be recording in peace. So change this to 8, and this should allow you to deploy to like the cloud file store. But remember, I believe they will stop supporting Node 8 maybe in March, somewhere mid-March of 2021. So honestly, you have plenty of time. You have like another like 8 months, right? So I think you'll be fine. So you're going to save our packet.json. We're going to run this again. Wait, and you can see here, update Node 8, deprecate. I actually don't know how to pronounce this word, surprisingly. Right here. Node runtime will deprecate and will be decommissioned on. Ooh, that snap. Where? On March 15, 2021. So like I mentioned, you have plenty of time. So deploy complete. Now you have your cloud function up on. Let's see, where is it? Up here, on admin message, just like the name. Where's our VS Code? Right here on admin message, right? So now you have the emulator running that you can test. Make sure you thoroughly test it before you deploy, because that's a hassle. Deploy, you see how long it takes just to deploy them. And then it takes a bit of time for it to run too, but it's also very, very hassle to create the message again. Do this every single time, for example, you have to create this all the time. It's very suck. So what you can do, we're gonna write a unit test for this, but we're gonna do online unit test. There's two mode to Firebase testing: online, and of course the other option is offline. Online testing is you're gonna basically test direct on this database server, but then offline test is that you can run tests on this. Typically, you wouldn't want to test on like an offline one, so you don't mess up any client data up here. But I in this situation, it's the opposite. It's very really opposite. That it's better in a way for you. Like it's quicker for you to test on online database than offline, because the offline you have to set up the SDK admin, you have to configure all the mock data. So you know what I mean in a bit, right? Let's jump to testing. So what we want is, I'm gonna be using just.typescript because we've been using TypeScript. Goes for project by Kusheka. I hope I say it right. And let's see. Let's go down to here. We're gonna follow this because we're using npm. I'll move this to the sides and copy and paste these so I can run these. How do we know? Let's see. We're gonna run. Make sure you go back to your function because that's where all your packet JSON is. We're gonna install Typescript, and we're gonna install the original chest, and then we're gonna wait for this to be done. It shouldn't be very fast. I hope so. Let's give it a second. There you go. And we're gonna run. We're gonna install our wrapper to it as well, and then so we're waiting for this. Let's go over to packet.json. We're gonna write test, and we're gonna say jet.watch all. Right, and we have that. Now we paste our last command, second to last, and we're gonna run test configuration. Where? Oh, I'm blind. I feel I'm blind. Okay, now we have our test config file. It's config. Now we enabling the test mode, and we say, well, the option watch hole is basically happen every time you make a change, you save, it's gonna do a hard reload for you and you run all the tests again. So now let's go to function, create folder. I'm gonna call it test, and I'm gonna call that index.online test.typescript. Make sure it's Typescript. It should move in. Yes. That's a very different icon. It's tripping me out. Okay, so now we want to import just. And then what else should we import? We must import let's see, import add function. All the template function from Firebase function tests. Oh, before that, you have to install Firebase function test. So you go back to documentation, Emulator deploy function. Wait, test. Go to test function, unit testing function and documentation. And throw me out of it. Install this. Make sure you npm install zip dev and Firebase function test. I forgot to mention that step. So now you got that function test. We also import admin from Firebase admin. Okay, now we're gonna create a test environment. Let's make it short. I'm gonna call functions. I really need to stop using the template because it's not helping. And we click at function. It say there's a config for admin, and then path to server account key. So first we start with the admin configuration. We have the database URL. We're gonna fill this in quickly. And then we have project ID. Alright, now let's see. We have that. Let's fill this in. We're also you see path to server account ID. It's gonna be a string, so it's gonna be some sort of JSON file. So what we're gonna do is you want to go over to your projects. You want to click on this project setting. And then here, I know that I need a project ID, so I'm just going to copy this project ID in here. And am I able to get, okay, you go to server account tab, Firebase admin SDK. Am I able to grab the database URL? Yes, I am. Here, we're going to paste that there. and then you want to click on generate new private key. So when you do this, it will download the file. I already did. I'm not gonna download again. But every time you download, it will make a new key, so don't worry about it. So you get this little JSON file. You want to drag this into function. You get a bunch of stuff right here. You can see is your client ID, your private key, or your token, and all that, right? That's where all these things. We're gonna rename this to service account .json. Since this contains very sensitive information, what we want to do is we want to go to get ignore. Let's go down all the way to the bottom. Service API key need protection, something like that. And let's say, let's go to function service dot account dot JSON. We exclude this from uploading to like GitHub or something like that, so we don't no one can see this. And now we have online test. Okay, now we have everything configuration. Now we need a path to that service key. So we're gonna go to service account dot JSON. Okay, so with that, you have your test environment. We also need to import everything from, let's call them my functions. We know that all our index.js file is in as my function, gonna be in the sort folder. So we're gonna import everything from the sort folder. Now you are ready to write your test. So we're gonna write since this example is very basic, I only can't think of like more way to test. But when you write test, make sure you account for all scenario happen. Like if the document exists and all that, right? So let's say describe and give it a name on add admin message. I'm just gonna copy the same name. And then you can also do this. Alright, and then you want to create a wrapper, wrap it, and it's gonna be any type, and then before all. So this function gonna execute before anything, any of tests. My bad. Before this whole test suite is like running. Executing is a better word. We're gonna say wrap-it. It's gonna import this. It's very annoying. Wrap-it equal to, say, test environment dot wrap. We're gonna wrap my function dot. There's only one function, right? You access the function here. So this is to create a wrapper to wrap a function, so we can pass in like the data. And let's see, we create a wrap function, make sure you have everything before all, and then I want to say test. Here you want to be a bit more specific, like test let's say give new message doc, then what, admin message exists, something like that. We're gonna test after we add the document, is the message from our cloud function being added in, right? So here we'll play a sync, and we're gonna do this, right? Yeah, so we're gonna be testing this. First and foremost, what should we do? We say let path. We're gonna kind of like do some mock data here. Path. We're gonna say gonna be a path to our database, and the message is 12345654221. All right, and then what's next? What should we have next? And we have content. Let's call them snap away dot admin dot should you do admin? We know that the function, we need to create the document, so we can say firestore dot doc when we need path in the path. We're gonna say create with data, so we're gonna say sender equal to, let's say, Google team, right? You have to, where's our wrap? We have to pass in our snap, so we're saying that we're passing our function to our admin function. We're saying this document with this data is got created, right? And here we can then check, we're gonna get the data, so constant, let's call them after, and then we say away dot, basically we can do the same thing here, dot get. Alright, so now we get that document, we are wait for it to be done. Before we continue, we must say expect y expect, oh my god, this is so annoying. Let's say expect after dot exist. Let's say we want to test if the document exists. After exist dot to, there is few function. Let's go, let's see all the test function that they give us. I believe, is it here? Let's say just test, let's search up function. Complete matcher. There you go. I was looking for this. So we expect, alright, we expect something to be, and we're using to be, right? I'm gonna say to be the exist must be true, because we know that we create a document, but we want to test it just in case. So and after this, if it's true, the test case gonna be passed, right? And then we want to, we get the data equal to after dot data. How would we access the field? I believe data message soon be, ooh, I'm so forgetting what I'm creating. Oh wait, no, we should go to emulator. We say admin.message. So data message dot admin message. Alright, it believes that. Oh, I was gonna move this to the side so it's easier for me to look at. So we got admin.message, right? And then let's say, why not console.log this out? Data message, just so we can see stuff. And then we say expect, no, I don't want any of that. Data message, no, we can still use to be again. To equal, it looked like to equal is when it's gonna recursive to the whole object and check if every single element in that object is the same. So we can also use to be here. And this is the wrong one. What was the message that we add? We have this message, right? And say to be equal to this. That's one. You're gonna save all this. We gonna be npm. Oh, nope, not here. We'll go to a terminal. npm test. I hope it doesn't throw any error. Good. Okay, so we got one error. Example object metadata we not using. I don't know. I don't know when is import this. I think every time I type the expect and the mess up, it just automatically import stuff for you. Object is possibly undefined. Huh. No. You can force unwrap this in a way. Because here we already check if the object, if the doc exists. If the doc exists, does mean there's some sort of data in it. Right? You can also do more checking here. You use like just to be safe instead of unforcing it. But I'm just gonna do unforcing, force unwrap this. My bad. Property set of undefined. Cannot read the property set of undefined. You know what? I make a mistake here. Instead of admin the file store, we want to use our test environment. Now you think about it, I actually make a mistake. My bad. So file store, make document snapshot, and then we have our sender again, and then we have Google team, and we also path and path. Now we can delete this. With that, let's save it and let's run it. We're gonna run the test. Pass. Give no text may exist. So that means all our test case that we here and here is pass. Let's say, what if we change this? Let's delete that. And in the meantime, while we do that, let's open up our actual sample. Also, make sure you clean this up as well, like every time you do. So we can also export out the path here. Let path go to that test, and then we also say after. I believe after each is a function. There's after all as well, just like before. Then we say we want to do return dot admin dot firestore dot doc firestore with a function doc. We pass in the path as we want, and then we say delete. So basically we'll do a cleanup to our data, right? So this gonna fail because we delete out the bot. So here I'm gonna basically I want to delete this document. Let's lower to bring it up for you. So now we just have an empty collection. So now when we run this, it will create the document. You can see it real time. Is it create the document? It'll delete it. And then admin was what we will fail because this right here, we expect this, but then we'll receive the bot, just like how we wouldn't delete it here. So yeah, so if we add back in the bot, then we go back to here. I'm surprised it didn't delete this because I say after each, right? Yeah, so now the function worked correctly. So it's completely lit. It say one pass, one total, time running. See, it's gone for quite long. So that's pretty much it for testing. The test I have here is very simple. You can also create multiple tests, this in one single suite to encounter for all the situations you have on your project. And thank you so much for sitting through. I checked the record time is 44 minutes. It's a very long video. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video helped you out. If you like it, please give a like, subscribe. I'll have a written guide post soon somewhere, and I'll put the link in the description later. I might need to take a break because this is such a long video I have to edit this too. So Thank you so much for staying through this, and see you guys next time.